So what is it like to go to New York City right now in the middle of a pandemic? Is it as crowded? I kind of wanted to talk about that because I thought it was a very interesting experience, to say the least. It's definitely changed since the last time I've been there. Yesterday, I went to New York City to submit my visa application because I will be traveling abroad December 30th. I remember being so nervous. I didn't really sleep that night, and so the drive there was a little bit shaky. Hi everybody, good morning. I'm on my way to New York. It's currently 5 o'clock, maybe like 5:10, so I'm running a little bit late, but yeah, come join me today. I'm currently in Delaware, and so I had to drive up to New Jersey to the Trenton train station, and from there I took a metro all the way up to New York City and landed in Penn Station. The first experience that I had at Penn Station, I went to the restroom and there was this lady who had you know those neon like blue gloves? She had gone to the bathroom and then was washing her hands with the gloves on, and then like stuck them under the dryer to dry them, and then like, you know, fixed her hair or whatever, all with the gloves on. And I thought that was so bizarre. I'm like, if you're gonna be doing all that, you might as well just use your hands. Like I didn't see the purpose of all of that. And so I just thought that was so bizarre. And when I got off of Penn Station, I haven't been to New York since, I'm not gonna say since I was a kid, but I wanna say at least high school. And I forgot the wow factor of New York, like the giant skyscrapers, the buildings, and the buildings now have these huge like with the graphics, mega platinum screens, like huge, like all above. And I just remember being kind of awestruck, like wow, like I forget that factor. And I had to stop by FedEx to print off some more documents to submit for my visa. And I remember just walking around and it smelled heavy of weed and fresh coffee, and I was just like, well, this isn't so bad, with the occasional sprinkles of like sewer. So if you've never been to New York, I think it's definitely a place to go, but you can tell that it's very, very different. It's not as crowded as New York City typically is, and so it was almost eerie that I could walk down Broadway or these main streets in Times Square without bumping into anybody. There was only, for each like stop sign that I came across or red light that I came across to cross the street, there was maybe like 3 or 4 people on that corner with me waiting to cross. And normally, like if you've been to New York City like on a busier time, it is like packed with like people in their suits, you know, trying to, in like costumes and stuff, you know, trying to get money, or like street performers or all these things. All of that's gone. And I think the biggest factor for me is that like I wanted to go to New York City early, a few hours before my appointment, to kind of experience, you know, the city life and treat myself and go somewhere nice to eat, because they say, as like a foodie, they say that you could eat somewhere new every single day in New York City and you'll never hit them all in your lifetime. But when I got there, I think the pandemic truly goes to show how New York City has changed, because when I got there, it's quite tragic, but like there was nothing there. Like I was like, where are these food restaurant places? They were all closed down. Like it wasn't until I was walking maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours just around street by street did I like ask someone, you know, like, are there new lockdown regulations? Like how come there isn't any restaurants open? And they said that there was indoor dining has been closed down, and so there was maybe a couple of restaurants that had a few tables to sit outside. And I eventually went to this Italian diner and I ordered like an omelet and many cups of coffee because it was 30 degrees yesterday. It was so cold. But I had the ability to talk to this lady named Michelle who was sitting at a table next to mine, and she was explaining how she's lived in New York City for over 30 years, and it was really sad because like all of her favorite places that she used to go to, like chocolatier restaurants and family businesses, had all closed down permanently. And with this new lockdown that they have in place with only dining outside, there wasn't many people who are eating outside in that weather, you know. And luckily the place that I was at yesterday had like 2 small heaters to kind of keep us warm. But it's just really sad to kind of see the Big Apple, you know, this place that was known for its novelty and diversity of all of these restaurants being closed down for good. You know, they've been there for generations. And she was saying that the small mom and pop businesses will eventually come back, but not at least for another 5 years or so. And a lot of people that she knows are moving out of New York City for a while to be able to get some of that livelihood back. And so I wanted to share my perspective. Oh, that's freckles. I wanted to share my perspective a little bit on it because, you know, I think that it's not that we lost touch of like, oh, you know, support small businesses, but I think that sometimes when it's like rah, so loud and it becomes a little bit normalized, that we lose sight that these are so many businesses that are still continuing to shut down. And so yesterday's trip, though enjoyable, I always love going to New York City. Like right now, all of the Christmas decorations are up and there's beautiful Christmas trees. And you guys, these Christmas trees are insane. They're so beautiful. All of the stores have these beautiful displays. Like if you're going to go see that, definitely go see that if you can. But if you're going there for a day trip, I don't think it's worth it because there's nowhere to go. Like there's no dining anywhere and it's freezing cold unless you have a hotel or something booked, which, you know, like if you're going to New York City, you want to experience the full thing. But just right now, everything is closed and it's eerie. There's not a lot of people, which may be good if you want to see just some iconic sites like the park or the Rockefeller tree or anything like that. I think that's a great time to go because there is no one. But if you're trying to experience like the restaurant, the food, the culture, it's dead. It's so bizarre. I have to say that the coolest thing that I ran into is a lot of the iconic like statues that are outside of these old buildings. They had like, some had Christmas decorations on them, but then also some of them had like masks on them. And I'm like, that's just a sign of the times, you know, that, you know, wear your mask and be safe. And I do have to say that walking around a huge city, like with your mask on, is very, very difficult. Like still do it, of course. But I think that just whole tourism experience is so different because I was walking so much that, you know, like I was huffing and I have glasses and it built up this fog and condensation and it got kind of hard to breathe. And it's like weird because like I noticed that I was getting dehydrated, but it's like when you're in a public area, you have to kind of go in a corner and like take down your mask really quick and drink water. And I brought like snacks, like an apple that I was planning to munch on like throughout like my walking, but it's just that culture of like people will look at you weird and, you know, as expected, you want to be safe and you want to be careful. But so I didn't end up eating my snacks. So it's just a very different tourism experience. And so yeah, New York City right now is very, not ghost town, but relative like to what I'm used to, like the hustle bustle, like barely enough spaces on sidewalks and you're passing like major crossroads like Times Square, Broadway, like that's crazy. Right where that Radio City Music Hall area is, like it's just all empty. Like I had plenty of space, which was kind of nice for me because I got to take some pictures and photos and videos, but also it's just like it goes to show like, you know, it reflects what's really happening. And I don't know, I just wanted to jump on here and kind of share my experience and share my trip that I went on yesterday. I will tell you guys soon where I will be traveling, but for now I'm going to keep it a secret. I think I'm just gonna show up there and then give you guys a tour of where I'm going and where I'm at. But if you live in New York City or you're curious about going, leave a comment below and let me know what your experience is like in your major city right now, because, you know, living in Delaware, it's not like we experience a huge difference with the pandemic, I guess, because there's so little people here already. I feel like it's kind of normal, I guess, but someplace that's super crowded and suddenly there's no people, what is that like? So yeah, leave a comment below and let me know what you think about that. As always, thank you for watching. If you like my videos or whatever, then yeah, go ahead and give it a like or consider subscribing. I have new videos every single week. But thanks for tuning in today. See you next time. Bye.